Salesmen, they're like recruiters, only better dressed, but they're still just as sleazy. As I've been going on this journey to buy a new truck, I've been having to deal with salesmen. And it's just ignorant. They're a necessary evil. I mean, if you're going to go through a dealership, you can't get a truck without one. I wish you could. But then, if you could, you'd end up in the old Craigslist days dealing with some idiot who, don't lowball me, I know what I got. And you're thinking, this thing is scattered across 3 counties. No. So, I mean, the pendulum swings from one end to the other, and very rarely do you ever get a shot to grab it right in the middle. So, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I've been dealing with here, because these salesmen, this has just been, ugh. Yeah, we'll sum it up with, ugh. So, let's get to it. It's a beautiful 70-degree day here in Memphis, and I would love to have my windows down, but for some reason people are idling and making it very hot. But let's get back to salesmen. The interactions I've had with them are idiotic, and what I'm wanting to do today is just talk about some of the interactions and how to deal with them, because when I said the dance begins, it's literally a dance. They are Pee Wee Herman trying to tell you that they're Fred Astaire. Meanwhile, you're Fred Astaire trying to convince that guy you're Pee Wee Herman. It's a back and forth. And it's also, you could call it a poker game. Now, I need everybody to know this and this up front. It's just like poker, except he's trying to bluff you. He's got a high card of a 2. There's no way he's going to win. But his job is to bluff you, to make you think you have to have what he has, because his truck is not transferable. It's a commodity. It's not worth anything except what you're willing to pay for it. You have the money. Your money is transferable. Your money will go anywhere. He knows that you can leave. So he's going to run a bluff. And he's got a high card of a 2. And 2s are not wild in this game. You know, so that's what we all have to realize. You have something that he wants. And you don't have to buy, but he has to sell. If any of y'all are old TV fans, you're going to remember WKRP in Cincinnati. And you're going to remember Herb Tarlick. You're dealing with a Herb Tarlick. You know, maybe a little better dressed, I would hope. But that guy's dream is still to get the Chrysler Cordoba with the Corinthian leather. And it seems like every salesman I keep running into looks like you're interrupting them because they're on their way to the back 9. That's the way they've been dressing lately. I don't get it. But, so you go into their office and you sit down, and then it starts. And they start spreading it. It's thin at first. They figure out what you want. And as they figure out what you want, they start laying it on. They're con men. And that's kind of a harsh thing to say about salesmen. They use the same tactics as con men, except they're in an honest business. Kind of. And their job is to sell. But they're not selling you a truck. They're selling you an idea. And that's a very important thing to remember. Little backstory. I come from a family of salesmen. Everything from houses to car lots and everything in between. You know, if I wanted to stay in sales, or if I had any interest in sales, I would have moved out to California with my family and ran a car lot down in Orange, California. And no, I really didn't want to do that. But that being said, you have to get familiar with the dance. And When I walk into that office, I have a truck in mind or an idea. And when I said he's trying to sell you on an idea, that's the truth. He wants to put the idea into your head that this is the truck you need. Now, you may have a little hesitation. I'm not sure this is what I want. I'm not sure this truck will do what I need it to do. I need to talk to this guy. And if you give a little indication of what you're looking for, suddenly that truck becomes your whole world, or the idea of the truck. Hey, this is for you. This is what you need. This will do everything you need it to do. Remember everything you just told me? Have I got the truck for you? Now, as I'm sitting here, I'm out of coffee. I got thinking about, I found a truck I really like. It was a brand new truck. Nice truck. The price was righteous. I mean, it was completely righteous. But I gave the salesman what I wanted. I said, I need this number for my truck. I said, I need this number. I'm going to put this number down. And I need the price after all of those to be this number. And I need my payments within $200 or $300 of this number on either side. And what I was asking for was not a lot. It really wasn't. Salesman, not even close. Not even remotely close. He wasn't even in the ballpark. He wasn't even in the parking lot. He was at the Stuckies on the highway. So I said, what about this? I said, what about my trade-in? He's like, well, your trade-in, I guess maybe I could give you 14 grand for it. I laughed in his face. I literally laughed, and I said, that's not happening. And I said, you're going to have to come up to 20. I'm buying a brand new truck. A brand new truck. For a brand new truck, you need to meet me. And he had all the whole litany of excuses, which I shot down. Every one of them. But at the end of the day, guess what? I didn't buy a truck. The guy wasn't being honest with me. He was trying to be a punk, and he was wasting my time. And so I wasted his. That's one thing. Salesmen don't have time to waste, because time is money to them. You have all the time to waste in the world. And if he's sitting there jerking your chain, waste his time. See how fast he either cuts and runs or he makes a deal. Because time is money. Now, it seems kind of harsh to say to waste his time, because that's really not a nice thing to do. But you have an agenda for being there. He has something that you want. But he also needs to realize that that's something that you want is at the place next door too. And the place next door to that. And it's on the internet. And I can make a phone call and have what I want delivered. Enough money, I could have a truck delivered to my house. It's true. So he needs to realize that. But if he's going to sit there and jerk your chain and basically be insulting, it's time to get up and walk out. And it doesn't matter how righteous the deal is. If you're shooting him a fair offer, and you know it's more than a fair offer, it's not your job to sweeten his pot. It's not. This is where you said you wanted it. And now, don't get me wrong, you have to be willing to be flexible a few degrees on either side. There's nothing wrong with that. But when he's flexing you like that, no. It's time to walk away. Deal or no deal. And there's no shame in your game. Sit there and meet with him a couple times and all he's doing is being stupid, walk away. He wanted to give me $14,000 for this truck. Mind you, the same guys 2 years prior, now this is a couple years ago, offered me $20,000 for my last truck that was missing half of its paint, had 1.15 mil on it, and was burning oil like a sieve. The truck was completely spent, and they still offered me $20,000. I have flawless maintenance history on this. It's all done through that dealership, and they only wanted to offer me 14. The guy was clearly trying to screw me. And I got a story about that. So I go down to Oklahoma City to talk to the guys. And as you saw, I didn't say this in the last video when I went truck shopping, but this is kind of funny. The guy's telling me, he shows me his computer and says, the stuff that's highlighted is what we have on the lot. The stuff that's not is what is on back order, what we're waiting on. And there's a list. I mean, it was 20 to 1. Everything is back ordered right now. Everywhere I've been going and looking, the inventory is very, very limited. They're not keeping stuff on the lot. Everything's getting sold. But the guy says the market for used trucks is nuts right now. We can't keep anything on the lot. And then he turns around and says, well, we really can't give you more than 16 or 17 for your truck because there's just no money there. There's no market. The buyers aren't paying anything, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to stop you right there. You just said you can't keep anything on your lot, and then you turn around in the next sentence and tell me there's no market for used trucks. Pick a side. You know, if you're going to BS me, at least keep it straight. And I got a laugh out of that. And when me and Red were driving home, I said, did you notice? She's like, yeah, I caught that too. And I was like, yeah, I thought that was rather funny myself. We can't keep used trucks on our lot, but there's no market for used trucks. Okay. You know, true, my truck's a little old, but these 386s are hot right now. And there is a market for them, and if I sell it outright, I'll get 25 or 30 for it, even the color it is, believe it or not. People want them. But when they start talking like that, you kind of have to, now don't get me wrong, the salesman was a really nice guy, but you kind of have to take him with a grain of salt, because like I said, his job is to sell, and he's gonna tell you what you want to hear, but he's also working in his own best interest. Like I said, this is a game of poker. You both are trying to bluff each other, but as a consumer, you need to realize you have the winning hand. These guys, they're out to sell you something, and they're out to convince you that you need it. They don't have a winning hand. They just have something that they want to get rid of in exchange for something that you have. You know, a truck for money. Money for a truck. And that's important as a consumer. That's important for you to realize. It used to be pay to park, and it was a whole lot cleaner and nicer when that happened. Farmers always have the nicest trucks. I tell you, some of the nicest trucks on the road. So I'm sitting here over off the Mississippi River, which is right over there, and I-40 is right there. I just wanted to let you know what I'm dealing with, and let you know that you as a consumer hold all the cards. You hold the power. The salesman, he's not going to tell you that. He's going to convince you that he has what you need. But at the end of the day, it's your call. Do your homework. Be diligent. And don't let him push you around. Now, I'm not saying you got to be a jerk. Don't get me wrong. But he needs to know where you stand beyond a shadow of a doubt. That salesman thought I was joking. Don't get me wrong. He thought because the truck was such a righteous deal, I was going to buy it anyways. He was wrong. It wasn't so much about being principled. It was about that he didn't even offer an explanation. I said, this is what I want. These are my numbers. And if he would have said, well, with this number, this is as close I could get. With this number, this is as close as I could have gotten. And, you know, I really worked it out, but this is kind of where we're at right now. And if he would have been honest with me, it would have been a different story. He was not. He was trying to almost, I don't know what he was thinking. You know, he wasn't interested in making a sale. Fine, screw him. There's a dozen salesmen out there. And what he needs to realize is, like I said earlier, is I can go next door and get the same thing. Because I don't have the truck, I have the money. He wants the money. He can't go next door and get the same thing. You need to remember that. You as a consumer, you've got all the cards. So, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been informative. There's not a whole lot here, but dealing with salesmen, it's been a trip. So, maybe we'll get a new truck here soon. I hope. But until then, we'll just keep using the old one, and I'll keep looking. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next video.